Us today, we welcome to the program Senator Juan Barnett. He represents District 34, that incorporates Forest, Jasper, and Jones County, serves as the chair of the Senate Corrections Committee, the vice chair of the Senate Enrolled Bills Committee. Senator, good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you all for having me.
All right, so we wanted to talk to you about this bill that you have authored, SB 2353. I read the caption to the audience earlier that this bill apparently calls for the phasing down the operation, is the way it's described in the measure of the state penitentiary at Parchman over a 4-year period of time, an extended period of time, and then transferring essentially the operations to other facilities operated by the Mississippi Department of Corrections. Did I accurately describe the nature of the bill?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, well, tell us about it.
Well, what this is it's time for Mississippi to move on past Parchman, as we know it today, as our state penitentiary system. And so the goal of this bill in the phase-down period is to give MDLC an opportunity to move its operations from Parchman to another facility that either one we may have to build, or two, look at buying another facility that's already in the Delta, so that we don't create a vacuum of taking away jobs or anything like that from those people who are currently working at Parchman, who currently live in the Delta. And the 4-year plan, again, is to make sure that we safely move those individuals from Parchman to another facility. And some people ask, why 4 years? Well, we just want to make sure that we do it right. And this bill itself is about 3 years in the making.
Okay. So is there concern, Senator, about the Parchman facility specifically?
Well, the Parchman facility specifically, we're talking about a facility that's, Parchman itself is like 123 years old.
Right.
And we have so many buildings there that we're not using. Some that we are using, but some that we just can't use, period. Never, ever. But regardless of that, we're still spending taxpayers' monies on a facility, and on some of the facilities that just too old. And some, regardless of how much patchwork we do today, we'll never fix that problem. And I know that some have said that, have said that Department of Justice is kind of satisfied with where we are now. Well, we all know how that is. We all know how that is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we satisfied them today until the next things break out, and then here they come again.
Right.
And so the best thing to do is not just fix a problem or patch on it to get us by today, but let's go ahead on and fix this thing and make it a permanent fix, so that when they come back, they can say, hey, Mississippi did what Alabama should have done. And that's to move on before and make sure that we take care of these things versus being forced like Alabama to do with $1 billion project that they're facing.
Yeah. Okay. So the obvious question to me that sticks out is, do we have the space and do we have the assets and the resources we need at the other facilities to accommodate the transfer here?
There is space at the other facilities so that we can do this. All of these things have been thought out before this bill has been dropped. And that's why I said it's been a 3-year bill in the making.
How does Commissioner Kane feel about this?
I really haven't talked to Commissioner Kane to ask, how they feel about it. But I can say, as a taxpayer, not just as a legislator, but as a taxpayer, I would like to see, my tax dollars being spent in areas where we can see some good as a result of it, and not just my tax dollars being thrown away into something that we won't ever fix.
Okay, so just to clarify, though, we're not suggesting in this measure here that we would release anyone from Parchman in advance of their scheduled release date, that their sentencing doesn't change, parole, everything else.
Sentencing doesn't change, parole doesn't change. Okay. None of those things change.
We're just trying to put them in a different house.
We're just trying to put them in a different location.
Okay, and so I'll admit I've seen some images, some video, and still photos of the Parchman facility, and it's less than impressive. There's no doubt about that. Are the conditions better at these other facilities?
Conditions are better. We're talking about a facility that's 20 plus years old compared to facilities at Parchman that are way outdated in that regard.
Okay.
So, yes. And we're talking about better security things and that are in place already at the new facility versus where we are at Parchman. Just a whole lot of things will be better if we're able to move on past that. And you asked a question earlier about monies.
Yeah.
How do we pay for this in monies? I think that's a simple fix there. I would much rather spend $10-15 million a year on the purchase of buying something that we can use for the next 50 to 60 years versus spending $10-15 million a year on something that we're just throwing money away on.
Okay. So you feel like that investing in remodeling or improving or renovating Parchman is not a wise investment, that it'd be better to invest that in these other facilities.
Exactly.
And so tell me again on the impact of the workers in these areas that rely on Parchman for their jobs.
Exactly. And again, like I said, this bill is 3 years in the makings. And the number one thing that I thought about was how do we protect the jobs of those people in the Delta? Okay. How do we protect the jobs of those people that work there at Parchman to make sure that they don't have to worry about that? And the plan going forward is to, like I said, is to either build or acquire a facility that's already there, rename it, because by law we have to have a designated state penitentiary. Okay. This place will now be the new designated state penitentiary. So all of those people will basically transfer to the new place that will be ran by MDOC, not by a private or anyone. It will be totally ran by MDOC. So that means it's still under state control, and those people will only just move from one location to another location. Okay. The worst thing I guess could be is that some may have to drive another 15 minutes farther to get to work, but it could be better for some that's 15 minutes closer to work. So.
Gotcha. So is there been some financial analyses done on this that looks at what we're currently spending to operate Parchman and what we would have to spend to build out a new facility and then operate it? Yeah.
There is, and like I said, that's the reason why this has been a bill that's been working on for at least 3 years, is to make sure that we address all of these things, all of the questions that you are asking. Okay. How do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this? And I think for the most part, we have the answers to that. Okay. So then I guess, Senator, somebody or some number of people, I guess, you work with to develop this plan, because this would be a fairly involved plan, and not only to construction and renovation, but of course the phasing in and the transfer. I mean, there's a lot of logistics involved there. I agree. And again, that's why it's done over a 4-year period. It's not like, we passed the bill today and hopefully the governor agrees and we sign the bill. It's not, effective July 1st and we start this process, and it's, right now. It gives everybody an opportunity to be able to make this transition as smooth as possible. Okay. What else is coming out of your committee this year? Well, the earned parole bill that we did before, we're going to ask for repealers, extend the repealers on that. Okay. And the other program that we did, we started a pilot program over at CMCF that really worked well. Where we allowed 25 individuals to be able to lead the facility every day and go out and work at a real job that's get paid a prevailing wage, and it has just been so successful. Mm-hmm. And the recidivism rate from that, we had 56 participants in that, and out of all of those who completed that, only 2 returned to prison when they were released. 2 people. That's almost, that's a success in itself, because everybody understands how it is that when we can really reach out and really help people and show them that we believe in them, but not just talk to them about how but show them and let them see how beneficial they can be. And we have, I have senators who have facilities like CMCF in their area and seeing the benefits of this, how these people are working and stay at work, and they want to be a part of this as well. So it's a real good thing. And the best thing about that is while these people are incarcerated, Gerard, and working every day, they are paying state taxes. Okay. So they're paying their way in a sense. Interesting.
Okay. Well, before you go, what do you think the chances are of this legislation passing? You say you've been working on it 3 years. Is this the first time you've ever actually filed a bill to do this
It's
stuff?
the first year that we filed a bill on it. But like
what do you think?
I'm going to be real optimistic on this.
All right.
You know, and I'm going to think that it's going to pass.
Okay.
Man. Why do I want to doubt my own self?
I got you. Senator, appreciate you coming in. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all for having me.
Coming right back, folks, in the Element Wealth